What is up, team? Trifunctional here, hanging out, playing some Minecraft on the Darkcraft server. I'm having an awesome day, and I hope you are as well. And I'm pretty excited about today. I've been doing some work in my creative world, and I've come up with a plan to fix our villager breeder problems once and for all. Now, we spent quite a bit of time on the villager breeder over the last couple of episodes, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do a lot of the work off camera, and then we'll be able to come back and actually do the main plan for today, which will be hopefully putting together a automatic food farm. Now, first off, right when I logged into the server, I noticed this guy right here, this wooden door. And now if we're going to have a villager breeder in the main area here, that wooden door has got to go. It's going to mess up the villager breeder because village is the center of a village is the average between two wooden doors, and if there's another wooden door within 65 blocks of your village for your villager breeder, it messes with it. Now, it's my understanding that is Easy Kill here that put up that wooden door, so that's why I grabbed Easy Kill here's axe that I got from when I shot him in the head with an arrow. And so I think it's only right that we use his own axe to break down his door. But yeah, he's actually on the server right now. He's totally winning as far as deaths are concerned. But I talked to him a little bit. It sounds like he's doing some work as far as getting the towers done. So really appreciate all the work that he's been putting into the community center here. But yeah, down here in the actual villager breeder area, I just covered everything with dirt, and I ran out of dirt, and so I covered the rest of it with netherrack because that's what I had on me. So I'm going to go ahead and unbury the protective blocks that I have here. I'm going to actually release the villagers that we have in here because I'm going to need them out of the way for actually doing the work on fixing everything up here. And they'll just go through the system and end up over here in our little storage container area. And then once I'm ready for them, I'll just go ahead and move them from here back over into the new villager breeder once I get it all put together. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work, and I will bring you back and show you the progress in just a little bit. Welcome back, team. So I'm making good progress on getting the villager breeder updated here, and I just want to give you a little bit of a progress report, let you know what's going on as far as the update. So if we come down here, you can see that I expanded the water streams to be 5 wide because the version I've come up with here is a little bit wider, so we want to have plenty of room for the baby villagers that will be falling down. Now you can see along here the cobblestone walls are going to be where the villagers will stand, and then I have the fence posts in here to separate the two villagers. So it's kind of similar to Unirybit's villager breeder. If you're familiar with that one, though, he has 8 villagers stacked around one cobblestone wall and fence post, and I don't really like that design as much because it just seems so crammed, and my experience with it has been like the villagers pushing each other, and they end up stacking on top of each other, which I don't think is good for a villager breeder. So with this one that I've come up with, there's going to be just 2 villagers in each spot, separated by the fence post. And so they're going to be very secure in their place there, and you don't have to worry about them pushing each other around, which should help with lag, and they won't be able to move around as much. And so then each set of 2 will be separated by these cobblestone walls that I have on the upper level here as well. So I'm pretty happy with the design so far, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started with filling in the villagers. And now another thing that I'm gonna do before I fill in the villagers is I'm gonna take out this scaffolding that I have down here. So I'll go ahead and I'll start filling in villagers, and then I'll bring you back once we are closer to getting this finished up. And welcome back, team. So I've made quite a lot more progress on the villager breeder here. And so I've got all of the villager pairs into the 16 slots. So we're going to have 32 villagers here, 16 pairs breeding. And now I have the half slabs above their heads because I'm doing similar to what you see over here. I'm pushing a bottom half slab into their waist, and then I'm going to have a top half slab above their head. And the reason for that is the top half slab will stop the water, because there's going to be water streams going around the outer edge here, and they'll still be able to pick up food from the water streams, and that's how we're going to feed the villagers. And then the bottom half slab at their waist is going to prevent them from throwing food down to the villagers down below once the baby villagers appear down below. So that'll make it so that all of the villagers that we get from this breeder will be guaranteed to have an empty inventory, which is important for like automatic food farms, because you don't want any villagers to have anything in their inventory for automatic food farms. That can mess up things for like your hungry villager. It can mess up things for your farming villager. And we also don't want the villagers to have anything in their inventory in like our villager trading hall, because that would make it so that they could potentially breed in the trading hall, and we don't want that. And also in our iron golem farm, if they have food in their inventories, then they could potentially breed in the iron golem farm as well, which is another thing that we don't want. So just showing real quick how I am getting the half slabs down to the correct position. Just placing pistons up there using a redstone block between them to power both of them, and placing a top half slab on the pistons again and firing them one more time. And so that pushes the bottom half slab into their waist, then the top half slab above their heads, and then I'm doing it to the spots in between them as well, and that's actually going to push the cobblestone walls that are between them that we use to help us get them down in there. It's going to push those down below, and then afterwards I'll go down below and remove those cobblestone walls. And it'll be a nice flush surface all the way along with the bottom half slabs at their waists, and then the top half slabs on their heads. So just doing that real quick here, just to show how that is working. So yeah, so you can see, pretty simple, just getting the half slabs into position, and that'll help secure them so they won't be moving around as well. Now, the other thing that I have set up over here is the villager extraction unit. Basically, I just use a minecart to push into this block here. With having the transparent blocks in this position, and then having all of the villagers being pushed into the corner from the water stream, it makes it when I bump a minecart off of this solid block here, it sucks one of the villagers through into the minecart. And so we'll just go ahead and demonstrate that real quick. So, yep, it just bumps the villager into the minecart and then pulls it out. And that's how I got the villagers out to move them into position in the villager breeding area. And unfortunate for all of these villagers that we have left over, I'm actually going to need to kill the rest of these villagers because, again, we don't want any of the villagers that we're going to be using for other projects to have anything in their inventories. And I'm positive that at least some of these villagers have food in their inventory. Now, there are a couple of white coats in there, and so if the white coats have any good enchanted book trades, like a mending book trade, then we'll go ahead and keep them around, and I'll make sure to check on that before I kill them. That's the reason why I'm not just like throwing lava in there to kill them all at once. I'm going to take them out one by one, just so that I can make sure that we keep any white coat villagers in case they do have any good enchanted book trades. But that's the update on the villager breeder. I'm going to go ahead and finish getting it put together, and then I'll bring you back in just a bit. Alright, excellent news, team. So we've finished the villager breeder, and as you can see, I went ahead and cleaned it up a little bit, so it's a nice flat surface across. I added in a couple more glowstone blocks so I can make sure everything is lit up enough that we don't have to worry about any spawns down here. And I put in some water streams around the outer edge. And so any food that I throw in here should just go all the way around, and it'll hit this row of villagers on this side and the other row on the opposite side. And they'll just pick up that food and they'll toss it back and forth, and then they will start breeding once we start feeding them. Now, I was hoping that the water streams would work with just the regular stone below. I just thought that the food would go rather slowly. But it does look like... looks like Great White was blown up by a creeper. That's unfortunate. But it does look like, unfortunately, the food is getting stuck underneath the half slabs, so it does look like we are going to need some ice blocks to make the water streams work. And I haven't found an ice spike biome, and as I mentioned in the last episode, looking at a map doesn't work because we're using a custom generated map. It doesn't look like the biomes are lining up with Mine Atlas anyways. So I don't know where there's an ice spike biome, and they're pretty rare, so it's not likely for me to find one just by going out and searching. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of exploring for us to get some packed ice from an ice spike biome. But what I can do is I can go to an extreme hills biome that is high enough in the air that has snow on the mountains, and I can make an ice tray to make regular ice, which isn't as good because it'll melt if we get light sources too close to it. Like, I believe this block right here might even be too close to like this block. Because we would be replacing all of the blocks underneath the water with the ice. We'll just use pistons to push them in there. And so we might need to move like this glowstone block to use the regular ice. But that should work for now, and then eventually once we do find some packed ice, we'll probably replace it because packed ice is just better. But so it does look like I'm going to need to take a little bit of a detour before I get the automatic food farm set up, because it's not going to do us a lot of good if we aren't able to feed it into the water streams to automatically feed our villagers. So I'm going to take a little bit of a detour to go set up an ice tray in an extreme hills biome, and then after that, after we replace the stone blocks below the water with ice blocks, we should finally be ready to get an automatic food farm going. And check it out, team. We have a ice machine. It's actually the next day from the last clip that I recorded. I got on with Easy Kill here, Great White, and Casual Dave last night. We did some streaming on Twitch. It was a lot of fun. If you're not following me on Twitch or Twitter, I recommend you do so because our streams are a lot of fun. We get together and do group streams, usually a couple of times a week. And every time that I am streaming, I make sure to tweet it so that if you are following me on Twitter, you should be able to see that tweet to know when we are streaming. But yeah. We have put together an ice machine, or ice tray rather. It's really simple. The blocks going across the diagonal, these half slabs make it so that the diagonal water blocks will never freeze. Oh, that creeper's trying to ruin our day. Alright, don't worry, we took care of him. But yeah, so the diagonal down the center will never freeze. And so that makes it when we harvest the rest of the ice blocks, it'll just automatically fill back up. And it'll be an infinite ice block or ice machine that we'll be able to harvest here. And as you can see, I have Silk Touch with efficiency 4 on it on this pick. And so it just makes it really easy to harvest it all up. And it was almost all the way frozen there, and I got almost a stack and a half of ice. So yeah. Very simple to put together, and it's very useful. You can use the ice blocks as just an easy way to transport a lot of water, because you can place down an ice block and then break it and then have a water source block there. And then you can also use the ice blocks for what I've used them for. Now we've connected this up via our nether hub, so let's go ahead and head this way. And so if we head through here, don't mind this tunnel. I just put this, or dug this tunnel out, so we haven't prettied it up yet. But it's not too far off from the nether hub, so we'll be able to connect it and put down the half slabs and make it all look nice. But we just turn over this way. You can see there's our portal to spawn, and here's the rest of our nether hub. But let's go ahead and head back to the fort. And we dug out the blocks behind the nether portal, and that was for something else that we did while we were streaming last night. We went searching for horses. So it was quite the shenanigans getting the horses through the portals. But yeah, we have 5 horses here left. Looks like they are pushing each other out. It's always Dolores. Dolores is always the one who's escaping the corral. So we're going to have to get her back in there. We got Dolores and Brian. Got a couple of them named because we think that they might despawn if you don't name them. So just to be safe, we used the 2 name tags that we did have to get a couple of them named. But yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll get Dolores back in there in just a moment. But what I wanted to show you is down here. And oh yeah, I'm sure you noticed the doors have been opened on the around the fort. That's something that Great White did, and that's because we do have the courtyard all nice and enclosed and lit up, so we aren't really worried about spawns in the courtyard anymore. So it's just more of a convenience thing having the openings here rather than having doors. But up here, Great White and Easy Kill have been putting in a ton of work on the towers, and if we pillar up, we should be able to see that they've started doing the towers around the outer edges. I think they have 3 of them done. So they've started the circles around the outside too. So these are going to be massive towers, which is going to be pretty awesome. It's also going to mean that we're going to want to redo the fort that we have on the inside. Because right now with these massive towers and that tiny fort, it's going to look a little disproportionate, but once we get the towers done, we'll go ahead and we'll get the keep all torn down and remade on the inside as well, and we'll build it up and make it nice also. But yeah, now back to what I wanted to show you, what I'm using the ice for. So down in our villager breeder, I went ahead and replaced the blocks out underneath our water streams with ice. I just used pistons to push the ice down into place where the stone blocks were. So now if we throw some bread in there, and if we can get in there for long enough before, yeah. So you can see it just zooms right underneath the half slabs, and it'll go around in circles, and so we'll feed our automatic food farm up to the water stream, and then we will be able to have the food going all the way around, and the villagers will just pick it up out of the stream. So that's going to be pretty useful as far as getting the villager breeder up and running and having a constant stream of food to the villagers so they are breeding. Now, the other thing that I haven't showed you yet is when I was sorting out or taking care of the extra villagers that we had in here, I did go ahead and check the trades before I killed them, and there was one villager that had an awesome trade. This librarian has a looting 3 trade for 12 emeralds, which is pretty awesome. So we're not going to have any problems with getting looting 3 on swords in the future. I just put him in a little bit of a box to protect him for now, until we do get a villager trading hall put together in the future. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Looting 3 is extremely useful for getting things like gas tiers or wither skeleton heads. But yeah, so that is the update at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and get Dolores put back into the corral so that Dolores doesn't get burned by these death traps that are in the courtyard. And then I'll go ahead and I'll bring you back in just a moment. Alright team, so excellent news, I got Dolores back in the fence area here. I left her on a lead tied to the post because she's always the one who's trying to escape. That should hopefully keep her in there. When I cleaned up some of these scaffolding around the towers as well, make it look a little bit more nice around here. But unfortunately, that's all the time that we're going to have for today. I wanted to get to the automatic food farm, but we've actually we're already about 20 minutes into the episode, and as far as my recording time, I should have actually been editing a long time ago. This episode's going to post late as it is, so I think we're going to call it here, and we're going to get to the automatic food farm in the next episode. I know I said that I didn't want to spend a whole episode on the villager breeder again, but the villager breeder is looking good. We finally got it in a good working order with the water streams around. All of the villagers seem to be secure, so I am very happy with the progress on the new villager breeder. And once we get it hooked up to an automatic food farm, it's going to be even better. And I actually need to get started with breeding these guys, so I should actually probably throw the bread that I have in my inventory in there. Because I need some villagers without any items in their inventory to be bred, so that we can use them for the automatic food farm. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to hit that like button for me. I certainly appreciate it, and it helps me out quite a bit. If you're new and you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can see when the future content comes out. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you on the flip side.